and thank you for joining us for this episode of Recipe Share, a program on AADL TV where we take a few minutes to talk about recipes in a featured category. Today's category is Too Hot to Cook. I'm Katie, and I'm joined today by Elizabeth and Beth to tell us about their recipes. So Elizabeth, tell us what you've chosen this week.
Hi, everybody. So I decided to make a kind of savory watermelon salad. I got the recipe from a website called Love and Lemons. They also have a cookbook that you can check out from AADL. And it was interesting. It's a watermelon salad with feta and avocado. It was supposed to have cucumber, but I forgot to buy cucumber, so mine didn't. And then you kind of make like a dressing with some lime juice and some really finely chopped jalapeno and garlic, and drizzle that over it. And then you're supposed to use some sprigs of mint. I don't care for mint, so I used basil. So I had been intrigued by this because I've been interested in kind of a savory. I've seen recipes before with watermelon and feta, and I was interested in that combination. So anyway, I made this, and I thought it was good, although I would make some changes next time to make it better. First of all, I thought the avocado was like a little bit too soft, so it kind of got like just mushy and kind of disappeared. So I would skip that. And I really missed the cucumber because I thought that like flavor of cucumber would have been really good in it. I loved the feta. That went super well with the watermelon and it was delicious. The lime was really good too. I thought that the pieces of minced jalapeno, which this was probably my fault that I didn't like chop them finely enough, but they were almost a little too crunchy. So if you were like chewing like soft watermelon and then soft feta, and then you kind of got like a crunch of jalapeno, it was a little bit like weird texturally. That all being said, it was really fresh and good, and it took like 5 minutes to put together. There was no cooking involved as per the rules. I think the one thing that I would say is really important if you were to recreate this is that it should be all like really good ingredients. Like I wouldn't make this with like a mediocre watermelon or like a mediocre cucumber, and the fresh basil, which I got from my garden, was like great. And so I would definitely like, that was really nice. Yeah, so that's what I made. I know we're going to share the recipes, and I actually took a photo of the finished product, so you can see kind of what that looks like. And it's kind of pretty. It has the greens and the reds of the watermelon and a little bit of white accent with the feta. I thought it was kind of an attractive thing to serve. So yeah, any comments or questions on that?
Yeah, I just want to say that I love that your recipe is like a little bit outside of the traditional watermelon and feta salads that I feel like we see every summer. I don't think I've seen one that has like cucumber and avocado and stuff in it. So that's like an exciting variation. And I love the tip to substitute basil for mint because mint can be so strong sometimes and it can really blow up your recipe. So I think it was a great idea. Thanks for sharing.
I was just wondering how you did the watermelon. Did you use balls or cut them up in chunks or what?
Yeah, that is a good question, Beth. I just did cubes. That's what the recipe called for. And that worked totally fine. But I think if you had a melon baller, that would be really cute as well. Also, if you were making like, I made enough for like both my like fiance and I to have like as a kind of like big side for dinner. So I probably wouldn't ball the melon that much, but if you're making like a smaller dish, I think that would look really cute. So yeah, I would recommend it. But I think it was really a great recipe to make substitutions with things that you like. So if you don't care for something, you could easily, like if you don't care for mint, basil, or a different herb. Yeah, so it was fun. We enjoyed it. I think I'll make it again, maybe without avocado and with cucumber. So anyway, Beth, do you want to tell us about your recipe?
Sure. So I made a dish that we make sometimes when we're really busy or if it's too hot to cook. And it's a variation from a Rachel Ray recipe, which is using potato chips it's sort of like a cross between nachos and a tuna melt. So I varied the recipe as well, but the recipe called for a 9-ounce bag of chips, of kettle chips, by the way, because they hold up a lot better. And it also calls for baking it, which I wasn't going to do. It worked fine in the microwave. But the way I did it was I put the chips on a plate, scattered, cheddar cheese on it. And then meanwhile, made a little tuna salad, which this called for jalapenos, and I used that. I tried it with green chili peppers too, and it's very good that way. So just make a little mini tuna salad, however you like it. This time I chopped carrots in it, and the recipe called for celery. I didn't have celery. So, and then I also added onion. So you just melt the chips for 30 seconds and then spoon the tuna salad on it, and there you've got your tuna chips. That's it. So yeah, and then you need to eat more later. Oh, I also had a little bit of fruit along with it just to round it out, and some carrot sticks. So, and I do have a picture of the finished product as well.
Beth, I have a question. Did you eat, like, do you pick it up? Like, do you just pick it up by hand, or did you like fork it? Are the chips like crumbled, or are they whole?
You try to get the whole ones.
Okay.
I made it again today just to see if I could really sing its praises, and I was satisfied with that. And I did eat it with my fingers, but you could totally use a fork too. Yeah. You have any other questions or comments? Okay. Go ahead, Katie. You share yours now.
All right, I will. So for my too hot to cook recipe, I chose a recipe from this book. This is Beautiful Smoothie Bowls by Carissa Bonham. It's a library book. The recipe that I chose is called Creamy Cherry Berry Booster. I'm super late to the smoothie game, so I know that they've been popular for years, but I'm just now starting to realize that I really enjoy them, and there's like so many varieties. You can really do so much with a smoothie. So I checked out a ton of smoothie books from AADL. We've got a ton of them, so I would definitely recommend looking through those. But this one I hung on to because I thought it was really neat, and there were a ton of recipes in here that I was attracted to. You can kind of see that I've bookmarked a bunch of this, so I've been playing around with that. I ended up choosing this recipe here. You can kind of see the picture. I chose it because of the picture. You see there's like a banana here that's stuck to the side of this mason jar, and it kind of reminded me of a banana split, which was one of my favorite things to eat growing up, and I haven't had one in forever. So I was like, well, let's try this. I also really like strawberries and cherries a lot, and those round out this recipe. So I was into it, and I actually have made several different smoothies from this book, and this one is my favorite one. So I really, really like it. You use a cup each of frozen strawberries and cherries. There's honey. There's a half a cup of yogurt in here. She used whole milk yogurt. I used non-fat Greek yogurt. It worked fine. And what's nice is that it calls for a half a cup yogurt, which is like your single serving size yogurt that you can buy at the store. If you don't want to buy like the big tub, or you can't keep that much yogurt at home, you can just buy the little one. This recipe called for flaxseed, which I could not get my hands on this week, so I left that out. It was great without it. I'm sure it would be good with too. And there's also a half a cup of coconut milk in there. And then she suggests the toppings of the banana that's stuck inside, and then also blueberries, strawberries, coconut, yogurt, and honey. Okay, so I actually have made this twice. And the first time I didn't have the fresh banana. I actually forgot the bananas at the store. It was like the first thing on my list. I hate that. But anyway, I had frozen bananas at home because I've been keeping frozen bananas on hand because I've been making smoothies, and it's a great ingredient to throw in there. So had the frozen banana, threw that in along with the frozen cherries and strawberries and everything else. And that was good. Then, as you can see in a photo that I'm going to show, I made it again with the fresh banana, and sadly, my photo did not turn out as well as the one in this cookbook. My banana did not really stick to the side. You can kind of see the outline of it in the jar, but it didn't like smash up like it did in the photo. But you know, who knows how they made that happen in this book. But both were good. I went with toppings that I just had. I used raspberries, blueberries, granola, and then I had cherries, so a little cherry on top. It was cute. One time I used strawberries instead of raspberries. Everything that I topped it with worked well. I will say, as a verdict, this is great, but I actually did prefer the smoothie that had the frozen banana blended in rather than your fresh banana. I like that a little bit more, but what's really nice about this smoothie is that it is filling with the yogurt in it. So you really can like just eat this for lunch and it should fill you up for a little bit. And it's easy on your blender. So I don't have the greatest blender in the world. And sometimes we've been a little bit of a struggle to get through some of the recipes that have larger chunks like peaches and stuff in them. But this was easy on the blender and it came through just fine. So I would definitely suggest trying this recipe on a very hot day like today. Do y'all have any questions, final thoughts?
I have two thoughts. One is I also made a smoothie bowl. So I kept trying to decide if I wanted to go with this tuna one. So so I'm glad I didn't share that one. But what are your thoughts on it filling you up for both of your meals? Was it filling enough?
Yeah, I thought that this one was like, it's not going to fill you up till dinner. I'll say that. Like if you eat it for lunch, you're probably going to want a snack before dinner. But as far as like, just like, you wouldn't, to me, I wouldn't think a smoothie is going to feel like lunch, but to me, it does. It feels like I've eaten lunch after I've eaten the smoothie. What about you, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I made mine as like a side with a separate food for dinner, and that was great. I think I would eat it for lunch, but probably also maybe have half a sandwich or plan on like having a snack later because it's mostly watermelon. So yeah. But Katie, I did want to ask, because I'm like I never make smoothies, although I love the idea. I just like for some reason find them intimidating. I don't know why. Maybe it's because there's always like beautiful pictures of them like that. And I'm like, how do I do that? So you just used a regular blender because that's all I have. And it's fine.
Yeah. And I think you really have to watch the recipe, right? So if it does have, and it's a learning experience with your blender, unfortunately, they're all different. But like, yeah, I know now if it does have like big peach chunks in it, I'm probably not going to attempt that with my blender. But if it's smaller, like strawberries, raspberries, cherries seem to be able to and chopped up frozen banana, my blender seems to be able to handle just fine. I will say I saw a fancy Ninja on sale at Costco this week. I'm thinking about it.
Handy.
All right. Anything else for this week? All right. Well, thank you all for watching Recipe Share, and be sure to click the link below to look at the events page on aadl.org to find the recipes we talked about and to share your own in the comments. Join us next time when we'll be talking about unusual veggies. We're looking forward to seeing what you've been making, so thanks for sharing.